Jays are back. Scored a bunch of runs, broke out the home run jacket. It looked as though it got like Taylor Swifted. Looked like a Taylor Swift jacket.
I don't understand. Why does it look like a Taylor Swift jacket?
You never seen like the Swifties? They have like a very elaborate, bedazzled jackets.
No, I thought they gave each other
dude.
bracelets.
I forgot that.
Oh, yeah, no, you're a 15-year-old girl. I forgot. No, I forgot. No, that's my mistake for thinking that you were almost the exact same age as me. You know, talked about, hey, you need to get on Metamucil. It's the best thing.
Dude,
and by the way, yesterday's day one.
Dude, don't do free ads. Don't do free ads.
Well, I don't even know. Yeah, like fiber.
No, but you and I are new fiber kings. We're on that fiber kick. We literally, Benny and I had legitimately a no joke 15-minute phone call about how sweet. We just figured out. We just locked into fiber.
Don't wait as long as we have.
No, honestly, my only regret was not being more of a fiber guy earlier. I used to dismiss fiber. I know there's some of you listening to this right now that don't respect fiber. You got to respect it. You got to get it in the mix. I'm telling you, you'll never look back. Never look back.
Again, this is the person who's like, I'm plugged into the Taylor Swifties.
But I am plugged in. But I am plugged into it.
Mr. Fiber.
I know exactly.
You contain multitudes. Fiber.
I know exactly what's going on.
What the Swifties
all right?
are doing.
I know exactly what's going on. Now. They have these bedazzled jackets, and they rock them to the shows, okay? And that the Blue Jays home run jacket, it was not the same jacket.
No, well, they stitched on like an extra Canada patch. It looked like, or the sleeve was Canada.
Yeah, la la.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice.
It was funny that Bo had to get it. Because they were like, hey, Bo, put the jacket on. He's like,
he smiled too. Like he seemed into it. So
it was a nightmare day for Bo because he had to put that home run jacket on. And then after Vladdy came out and did his water bucket thing, that they were like, oh, it's so funny still. It's so funny, Vladdy. Bring out the water bucket. And he poured it on. And the poor Jays Twitter account, they keep doing it. Like they keep going, we have to tweet the Vladdy water bucket thing. Yeah. And all the comments every single time are, we hate this, we hate this, we hate this, please don't do this, we hate this. Yeah. And the poor social media person just has to take a beating every single time that they put that out there. I for the life of me, I can't understand it, but yeah. Home run jacket thoughts? Do you have them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what are, don't say you did. This is what are they?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, go listen to Ben's other show. Skip this.
I did and I do, and I will continue
okay.
to have that. It's desperation time for everybody in this organization. The front office hasn't done anything desperate. Like Aurelvis Martinez is just smashing homers, and he doesn't have a position. He commits an error like every day at second base, but he's mashing. He's doing the one thing the Blue Jays don't do, and like Addison Barger, same thing. And like they tried him for 5 games when Kevin Kiermaier was out, but like those guys remained. And Spencer Horwitz has actually shown an ability to get on base, but they're like, nope, won't go. Desperation time. And like finally, over the last 3 games, the manager has done the desperate thing, moving the guy that is over the last like full calendar year and a bit been
one of their best guys.
No, well, I was going to say one of their worst guys in George Spring moved him out of the leadoff spot.
Okay, I thought you were saying Schneider.
Yeah, David Schneider. He's moved him up. Those are in concert. So like it's like there's a little bit of desperation. If you're a player, there's very few things that you can do that is like, hey man, I'm at my limit, and like I know this seems panicky or desperate, but like that's where we're at. It's desperation times. Bringing back the home run jacket after a year absence, and then it being almost June when you're one of the worst offenses in all of baseball, had not before yesterday hit a home run out of the 4-hole. That's all you can do. So, like, kudos to you.
Yeah.
And especially Bo Bichette, who seems pretty adamantly anti-jacket. Yeah. He's like, I don't care.
He's been on record.
He's like, this is stupid. This is horrible. I wanted Charlie Montoyo fired, and I got that. Yeah. Like, I'm Mr. Serious. You won't find me smiling ever, ever, ever. But, man, my OPS is still in the low 600s here as we approach June.
Has he cracked 600?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he is. He's on the rise. And we can talk about our little bet. I don't know if we brought that to air.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Anyways, we can talk about that in a second. But, even him, he's like, whatever. It's like, I don't care. Whatever it takes, not that there's like a logical reason why it would work, but it's pro sports and human beings, and weird stuff happens and you see narratives build. Let's do it.
Buddy. So I just want to go on record and say, forever with the home run jacket, when people would get upset about it, I would laugh my ass off, and I would say, man, the uncles just get so fired up about nothing. Like, the jacket doesn't matter. Most teams have, like, again, the Mariners have a trident. Most teams celebrate home runs.
The Orioles have a beer bong they fill with water.
That's it. Every team or most teams have something stupid like this.
Yes.
The difference with the Jays is that, and again, I never cared about it. I never cared whatsoever. But when I went away, I went, yeah, okay, fine. You know why? Because this was a team that was trying to say, hey, we're shifting into being a little bit more serious. So there was a kind of a practical application. And for Vladdy, my kind of thing to him was always, dude, you can be the franchise player. Everyone's going to be down with water bucket challenge and home run jacket if you're ripping 45 home runs and you're the reason why the team is winning. Then you get to be the face of the franchise and you get to do things your way. You get to set the culture the way that you want it to be when the team's one of the worst offenses in all of baseball. And you're still doing you're under 500 and you're pouring water on guys. Like, imagine you were watching like the White Sox do that, where they were pouring water on each other.
I'd be like, yeah, you need to. I mean, that is cause for celebration. You won a baseball game? Absolutely.
I guess but that's what I'm saying is that's who you are. You're last in the division.
Yeah.
The idea that you're treating it this way, I understand trying to keep it light, but it's just, to me right now I've completely shifted from I can't believe people care about this stuff to every time I see it. It's
really?
Dude, yeah, I never
the jacket, like I
never cared about the jacket
water,
whatsoever.
No, but like that's your thought on the jacket. It, like, irks you now?
It doesn't irk me, but when I saw it, I had that thought of what you said, which is the desperation thing. Which you go, man, like this was your solution.
Well, but what else can you do as a player?
Hey,
right?
we're not having enough fun. You know what's fun? The home run jacket that some of the guys on the team hate. You know, okay,
dude, that doesn't just happen out of nowhere, too. That's the other thing. It's like they had a discussion about it.
I guarantee you sometimes Vladdy he wears it to the stadium and he's like, oh, these? Right.
No, I honestly think it was the perfect time to bring it back, if you're going to bring it back. Because it's like, if you were going into this era of seriousness, well, one, it didn't manifest itself into anything.
Era of seriousness, this is the thing. We're back to, hey, be as goofy and stupid as possible because this doesn't work. You guys being serious is...
serious... I mean, listen, nothing's fun if you don't hit. Like, that's just not fun. Like, you can lose and score runs, and that's still, like, fun-ish.
Yeah.
But, like, the way this team plays baseball this year
my God.
and the majority of last year, that's just not fun. But, the serious boys with all their base running mistakes and the no jacket and, like, trading away the unserious guys but who play baseball real good, like, that didn't work.
Do you think they brought the jacket back just as a signifier of you're allowed to hit home runs? Like, they're like,
there was a reminder.
Yeah,
dude,
they're like, guys, I know when we took away the home run jacket.
Great theory.
That didn't mean we wanted to take away home runs.
You know how it's...
And they were like, what?
You know, there's like some studies or people have written about, hey, if you're not happy, just try like smiling more.
It works.
I know. I've done it before in my life too.
Yeah, it tricks you. You're such a stupid idiot brain that it just, your idiot brain actually will go.
I'll try anything.
I've
smiled into a mirror like by myself.
Are you the Joker?
Yeah.
That
is that I actually haven't seen the Joker, but like I've seen that clip. But yeah, if you're the Blue Jays and you're like,
honestly, we might have to take a break and talk about this because that is depressing. But okay.
Listen, you've forced yourself to smile.
Yeah, but like, think about it. I've listened to like a podcast on it before. It'll come up and it'll say this, and then you'll try it for a second, and you go, "Oh, this kind of works," but I don't know. Yeah. But then you're in the mirror, going like, "Don't
look
cry."
Look at that happy. Look at that happy person.
I'm happy.
Anyways,
look at that happy person.
What's he so happy about? His life is horrible.
Yeah, that's so
good. No, maybe there's something like that happening with the home run jacket, where the Blue Jays are like, "Hey, you know, there's something, this reminds me of something. What is this? What? Yeah. Oh, yeah,
home
the ball,
runs.
the rally killing thing."
Can I tell you something? Now we're saying this. I'd rather the Jays lose than win and people go, the home run jacket was the turning point of the year. I hate the home run jacket that much that if they were like, you know, we're doing the montage, like raise a little hail, and it's just like them hitting jacks and putting the jacket on and being like, jacket, and everyone in the crowd starts wearing the jacket and it becomes a piece of legend. I think I'm actually such a pessimist now that I would be there at the games like the one sour guy not happy about it.
Dude, okay, so you're okay. This is something I thought was clear, and you're indicating to me that it's not.
Yeah.
I thought it was a straw man argument that it's still a controversial piece.
I don't think it's controversial. That's not my point. I don't actually have a strong opinion on it, other than I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. I'm not like, yes.
No. But
they're having fun again.
My contention was that people are over it, and like even the people who
are
are anti-jacket.
No.
Can't say that. Oh well, getting rid of the jacket and things have been nothing but great since then.
No. But that's a true straw man take. That is like actually believing that the home run jacket has a tangible effect.
No, but that it's an indicator of something.
No, I do. I think that this is an indicator of times are desperate and they're trying to be like, hey, we're having fun.
But I view that as a positive thing.
No, I don't. Here's why. You should know better. There's nothing worse than corporate, are we having fun yet? And you're like, no.
Yeah, but
when people are going, this is fun. Tell us how fun this is. And you're like, and that's the only thing we ever got on the jacket. I listened to Blair and Barker talk about this when Hazel had the original report with Vladdy, and he brought it up in the first place, is that there's a clear indication that some guys in the clubhouse didn't like the jacket. And so if you're a leader, just leave it alone. Get a new thing. And for Vladdy, I actually think we've talked about this with the water bottle thing or the water stuff. He doesn't seem to have the best read when it comes to being a leader of this
wonder
stuff.
about his perception on things too.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't seem to have like a lot of perspective around of what's going on around him.
Answer me this question.
Yeah. This is the end, by the way. We got to move on to the next topic. But yeah, I can't do 20 minutes on home run jacket. I feel already like a fool.
I actually have a different question for you.
I feel like a fool. I just want to let everybody know that I meant to do this as 2 minutes as a joke, and now we're like really psychoanalyzing.
I mean, how many times have we said that about a topic?
Yeah, true.
All right. So Vladdy's like respectable now, right? Like he's hitting over 270, and the on base is like 100 points higher than his batting average.
Yeah.
His slugging percentage is still like below league average in like the worst offensive environment in the history of baseball. He's still below league average with his slugging percentage.
Yeah, but pitching is hard.
It is true. Some people throw 100 miles an hour.
Some people throw the ball good, and that's hard. So
yeah. Harder for him than for other people. Anyways, do you think Vladdy is like, oh yeah, now I'm not underperforming. Like now this is it. Like but why would people be disappointed with what I'm doing now? Do you think he views himself the way he's performing right now, which is, man, getting on base is the problem we have with OPS, or I have with people valuing OPS, if I have a problem, is that people value a point of on base the same as a point in slugging.
Yeah, and you're an on base guy over slug.
Because that means that's the difference between making an out and getting on base, as opposed to the difference between an out and not making an out is way bigger than the single to a double.
Single to a double, yeah.
It's like there's just no debate about that. But like, and so he is getting on base.
Yeah.
But
which
also
technically is your favorite thing, which I don't even understand. Yeah.
Fine. It's
see,
good.
like you're talking yourself into circles here. You're gonna debate yourself. Ben, you love on base, but you hate Vladdy.
I like that part. Yeah, I like that part. I also would like him to hit more home runs than Kevin Pillar. Right now, that's not the case. They both have 4.
Yeah.
So like, I just wonder if he's like, all you wanted me to do is like take
Kevin
walks.
Hasn't even played the full season.
He's been in 2 locations. Yeah, that's right.
I wasn't aware of that stat, but I was aware of Pillar because I was going to get him on this podcast because I went, oh, hey man, you're out of work, so why don't you come on the show?
No, shortly that'll be the case. But no, honestly, I couldn't even. I think he was with the Angels, right? And he's with the Angels. He was with the White Sox, and he's like not good enough. And then the Angels now. Yeah. And he has 4 combined home runs between the two. He hit another one. He has 5.
Okay, so he's ahead.
So Vladdy's looking up at Kevin Pillar, but he's got a good on base and he's hitting over 270. Do you think he looks at his baseball reference page and is like, I'm doing it?
No. I think he wants to hit bombs. I think he knows he's not hitting bombs, but man, for him, this is a really positive step forward from the place that he was at a month ago, right? Which is, holy crap, dude, do something. Like, he probably does look at where Springer's at right now, and Bo's coming out of it, right? Bo's on the rise, there's no doubt about it. But he's probably looking at Springer right now and saying, phew, I'm glad I'm not there, because I was there. You and I were brothers in arms in the basement. Like, yeah, anyway, this is a good way to pivot into this, because I texted you, I texted a bunch of people, I've tweeted this out. Again, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis. By the way, I bet the J's over yesterday. Brave. I was so brave.
Wow.
Hit. Yeah, shared it.
Didn't you do it that other time where they got 2 hit? Didn't you do it the middle game of the White Sox series?
I can't remember what game. No, I did it against a team. So on Jay's
it
overs.
was one where they got like 2 or 3 hits.
No, hold on though. On Jay's overs this season that I've posted publicly, I'm 3 wins, 1 loss.
Way to go.
I actually am so dialed into when this team's going to have. I've only had one time where it hasn't worked out.
It's easy when you're living in your palatial estate, which you bought by betting Blue Jays unders all season.
Yeah, no comment. I have bet a lot of first 5 unders. There's no doubt about that. And it actually has, like, how much money I've made off of it.
I know.
Yeah,
you're going to be like Luka Doncic.
I don't even like talking about it publicly because it's actually I'm so afraid of it.
Yeah, I know. You're like a baseball player in the middle of like a great streak. You're like, I don't know, the ball's falling for me because you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, well, it's I don't want to tempt fate. I don't want to fate the gambling.
But you know
gods.
what you and I are like? It's like, so did you see the projections for the new NBA salary cap and what a max contract is going to look like and how the final year of a max deal when the new media rights deal comes into place, it's you're making $95 million a season in the final year of that deal. And how it's like Luka Doncic, if he sat down with Austin Matthews and like his $13 million, he'd be like, oh, don't even reach for the bill. Like, that's ridiculous. That's like you and me, the way that you've been accumulating.
I do like that. Basically, that was a long-winded way for you to be like,
you're paying for
buy
100%.
Like, oh wow, what an interesting take by you.
No responsibility, disposable income.
Yeah, no, it's like that was just very weird. Hey, not congrats. Hey, let's stick to the point. You're like, hey, you want to buy me lunch today? That was basically what that was.
The
that
offer
was basically
okay.
what that
like
was.
Maybe just send me like an Uber Eats.
Yeah, yes, send you an Uber Eats. Okay. The last thing I want to do on the Jays right here, because I want to do underrated legacy stakes for the remaining guys in both conference finals. That's the main. That was supposed to be the main topic of today, but it's going to be home run jacket. Home run jacket ended up being number 1. The Springer contract. I tweeted this out the other day. I asked a bunch of people. Hold on, I should actually pull up the tweet because I forget some of the names. People got confused too. I wasn't trying to be like the worst contract. I'm saying this season that he's having right now, so far. What does it look like in terms of the worst return on investment for like per dollar out of any athletes like current or last season? And the answers that I got back were, I think, pretty telling of how bad the George Springer contract is right now. And I only asked, people like you whose sports opinions that I really, again, no offense, but mostly industry people is what I pulled. I think I only went one friend outside of the industry. The answers I got back, which were the main ones, were Daniel Jones, Ben Simmons, Anthony Rendon, Gordon Hayward, Jordan Poole, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with.
Like, he's unquestionably.
You said Ben Simmons in there, right?
Yeah. No, Ben Simmons is the Mount Rushmore top one.
He doesn't play. Like,
you're
literally zero.
Do you know that, again, my weirdo, Mike Jose, that's his favorite athlete?
That's insane.
No,
that's like literally the only person on the planet.
And not only that, it's like, it actually makes me mad because he's already got all these things that make him stand out and are weird. And he's like trying so hard.
Does he make balloon animals of Ben Simmons?
Dude, he literally makes a living making balloon animals. He can't eat any food. Yeah, he's like, it's like he's the weirdest guy. Like, he's into alt comedy. Like, it's just, I'm like, dude, someone look at him, please. Someone look. He's 6'5", and he's just like, he's literally, I can't believe he doesn't have face tattoos. He has other tattoos, obviously. He's craving attention, but he's like a week away from a face tattoo because people just won't pay attention. He's just like more outlandish things. He's like, where's Ben Simmons stuff? And he like defends him. And even when he's trying to defend him, it's like really pathetic. But anyway, you can't touch Ben Simmons. Rendon. Yeah. Gordon Hayward just had a playoff series where he's mad that he didn't get more of a quote opportunity to play, even though it was like, hey man, you're minus 1,000, you had 0 points.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, I think, is the most overpaid quarterback in football. He had one solid-ish season with a new offensive coordinator. Then they gave him the bag.
Highlight of his career is like falling down, tripping on his own feet.
Yeah.
Right.
Deshaun Watson is the best out of all these guys, but it's about the guaranteed money that he got.
Yeah.
And I do think people sending me that it was a Browns fan who is pretty pissed about the trade as well. But Deshaun Watson is better than George Springer is when he's actually playing football, but does get hurt. Jordan Poole, he's on a crap Wizards team. Anyway, the point is that
Rendon is a good one just because like he's performing at a similar level to George Springer and making way more.
Yeah, that's it.
$14 million more. He's making $38.5 million. And the term is the same as George Springer. So for the next 2 years, that's what we'll be making.
So, I don't think George Springer is one of the worst contracts in all of baseball, for example, because it is only 2 more years left, which is a lot, right? But compare that to like Giancarlo Stanton, who is playing much better than George Springer this year. But I think he's still got, 5, 6 years left on that outrageous deal. It's basically, hey, they're going to pay this guy until he's 6 feet under. Mm-hmm. But do you think that the Springer, so there's no question in your mind that right now, per season, for this season, George Springer is one of the worst 10 contracts in all of sports? Like in terms of ROI?
Yeah, I will say that I think he's going to be better than this. Like, I don't think he's going to be good, but like last year, he was a league average player with the defense, like a center fielder's defense in right field, which is.
But I'm tired of hearing about like George Springer's playing fine.
No,
defense.
We're talking about like we're parsing the parsed pieces, right? Yeah. I understand. Yeah,
this was the morons that tried to defend Varsho last year. Where it was like the trade's fine because he's out there making.
And listen, George Springer is not Dalton Varsho defensively, and he's playing right field, and Dalton Varsho when Kevin Kiermaier's not in the lineup, he's playing the most premium position. But it's been really bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been really, really, really bad, and it's one of So what? Like top 10? I think
it's 100% in the top 10 is what I'm saying. Like I went through it, and I literally looked through each. Here's the only problem with this list. It should really be the core 3 because in hockey, it's so hard to be like this level of drastically overpaid, right? Because this is per dollar. And like you mentioned with the 13 million thing is just even guys who are overpaid, right?
Like Jack Campbell.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the worst one. That is the worst one. That I should have been in there, actually. I missed Jack Campbell. He snuck by me because he's not in hockey.
Yeah. But he was activated. He's on the active roster because there's no salary cap in the postseason. Right. So he's with the Oilers right now. How dare you?
I actually feel bad for not acknowledging Jack Campbell because
it's like Calvin Pickard, 80-year-old Calvin Pickard who never played a playoff game in his life, got in ahead of Jack Campbell, who's making $5 million a year for the next 4 years.
Unbelievable. Anyway, so you're right. Jack Campbell is in there. He's the hockey contract by far. He's the worst hockey contract, especially when you consider that he's hurting McDavid's prime and Draisaitl's prime.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But I think he's top 10. But my question to you is, with the 2 more remaining years that he has, like I talked to Blair and he mentioned that maybe the Jays could trade him, and if they ate most of the money, they could maybe even get something back. And now I'm looking at that and going, I just don't see how that's possible.
Something back?
Yeah, like a prospect, I don't know, but. I'm sure it wouldn't be a high-level one or like an incredible one. But, if you're a team and you're getting George Springer for free, why wouldn't you give up a little something for that? But even at this point, you're looking at it and going, I don't know how this is going to turn around.
George Springer's not a net positive.
Yeah, so this is my point is if you're eating the money basically either way, and this is going to end up being essentially like $75 million of completely dead money. Is this the worst contract that the Jays have ever signed, considering that they didn't get any success, really, out of he was hurt? Yeah. They didn't win any playoff series, and now you're looking at $75 million essentially of dead money. Like, doesn't this pass like the Tanner Roarks and the Jaime Garcias?
Oh, well, easily. It's also the biggest free agent contract they've ever signed. Like, it's like the Vernon Wells contract. They were able to trick, and they were
good.
I think
that's what I'm saying. Like Tanner
he was
Roark
underrated.
Was literally the big diesel engine came out and just threw meatballs.
What
and got crushed.
The 2-3 year deal for Tanner Roark?
Let me pull it up. Either way, I love how I thought Kikuchi was going to be on that list, and it's like,
of course,
yeah, we all did. We were like, Kikuchi's. I have tweets that are like,
you say Kikuchi might have done the biggest 180 for me.
Yeah, of any athlete in my life. Like, I love him. He's my favorite.
I watch his kid go out on the field. I literally I almost cried.
Yeah,
I was like,
no, dude, I would like. I
can't get enough. Like I read the blog TO story about like his day and like he reads over 200 books a year. He sleeps all the time.
Sleeps all day. Yeah, he sleeps. If his wife wakes him up, he's just in a tizzy.
His son's middle name is named after Daniel Vogelbach, which is maybe on the negative side of the ledger. But it's not a surprise to me that like everybody's loading up on Yusei Kikuchi bobbleheads yesterday.
Dude, I like I said, if you had to ask me, hey, who are your favorite athletes in Toronto right now? Like, who are your favorites?
Yeah.
I do. I think Yusei Kikuchi is one. Like, I don't even know who I would even compete with. I think it's like RJ Barrett, him, and
he handled the struggles so well too, right? Like he sucked so hard, and it was like so untenably bad that
No, that's part of the reason I love him.
Is that he was like, I'll go down to Buffalo, whatever you got to do. Not like George Springer's like, I'm a leadoff man forever and ever. Even though he didn't say that,
you
but like,
dare. No, he ain't gonna.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, and then he's like a couple months of the season, he's got a batting average of 190, and he's like, all right, I guess.
But I
guess I shouldn't have the second most at-bats on the whole team.
If the argument is like that's what the money's for, it wasn't for George Springer, but it was like you say. Kikuchi's like, that's what the money's for. Like, whatever you guys got to do, like I'll do that.
Yeah, he's a man.
And he did the thing that Robbie Ray did. He just like eliminated the walks. And now you watch a start like the last one where he walked 3 guys. They're like, a little wild out there for Yusei Kikuchi. This is a guy that would go through 2 innings with like 6 walks and you'd be like, he somehow pitched around that. But no, it's unbelievable where I am mentally with Yusei Kikuchi.
Yeah, Tanner Roark was 2 years, 24. You just got nothing. But here's the thing. You're going to get nothing on one of ththose Springer years. So it's not even a question because, it's 25 for one season of literally less than, like right now, what was Roark's WAR? Like, because right now I think, no, I know, but so is Springer's right now.
Yeah. No,
Springer has a negative WAR. He's like,
he's an active detriment. No, it's like Kevin Biggio is not good, right? No. Like Kevin not good. We can all agree.
No,
I mean, maybe
every once in a while he fools us for like a week where we're like, oh my God, I got to delete all the Kevin Biggio tweets. And then you're like, no, hold. And then it's going to be fine.
You see him in a lineup against a righty and his like 340 on base. You're like, that's, you know what? That's something.
Yep.
It's giving you something. Well, that's why I think you can message this like we're now going beyond, hey, George, no more leading off for you to like, hey, George.
Your platoon.
Like, hey, do you enjoy, like, man, being on the bench is kind of cool too, don't you think? Like you can be the guy that's in charge of the jacket and and like we played you too much last year. Like that was part of it. You're old. Like, would you like to ease the load off your aching bones?
Yeah.
How about just have a seat for a little bit?
Tanner Roark gave the Blue Jays, this is really tough. Over the course of 2 seasons, he gave them 12 starts. He pitched in 14 games, so 54 innings for $25 million or $24 million. He had an ERA. Oh my God, this is even actually worse than I remember it being. He had an ERA of 6.75.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. That's a lot. How many innings? Over 50?
Yeah, 54 innings. Yeah,
that's a lot.
And a WHIP of 1.7.
Yeah, that's too many.
He struck out no one. He literally was out there striking out no one.
Yeah.
No, he's horrible. His best stat is that he only hit 2 batters. It's like, nice.
No, not nice. You would think, like, no, get your money's worth out there.
No, that's the thing, though. He didn't throw it hard enough for it to really matter. Anyway, so, I think that this is what's crazy, is that this really does, this has gone from the Jays' marquee free agent signing. Everyone was so terrified of signing Semien, right? When we look back at this, it was like, no question, no brainer. You take Springer over Semien. And now you kind of look at it and go, whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
And he did have moments, though, like out of the gate. But yes. And you knew that the end of this deal, it's why
of course.
The Mets were hesitant to give him the extra year.
Yes, that's part of the reason why this is so bad, is that they didn't win any playoffs with Springer, and that the years that they were most competitive, he was getting hurt. When he was most important to the team, it's horrible. When he was most important and when he was truly driving success, he kept getting hurt.
He was healthy for the postseason, though. And the lasting memory will be Game 2 against the Mariners where, he slams into Bo Bichette and is carted off the field. I was going to say, that's his most memorable moment as a Blue Jay. Yeah. I mean, the question next becomes, and it's not now, despite the fact that, everybody wants him it's sunk cost, so just, rip the Band-Aid off now. Nobody does that. Like, it's just not happening, and he still can play capable right field, and every once in a while, maybe... he makes good plays out in the field. I don't deny that. Yeah, but you're not, like, DFAing George Springer today. But, like, when is that finally you go to ownership and you're like, we screwed up here, and he's a net negative, and we got to rip the Band-Aid off at some point. I mean... Is it at some point this season? I don't think you can with 2 more years. I think it has to come like next season. It can't be this year. No, it's next season though. When you have a year and like a half left where you can sell it on, and maybe you trade him at the deadline for like almost nothing next year. But it can't happen this year, even though you're probably a better team. Like right now, frankly, like I don't think this is a stretch. Nathan Lucas is 30 years old, and he's a career minor leaguer, but he's killing it in Buffalo this year, and he can play a capable center field defensively. He's left-handed. You're probably a better team with Nathan Lucas instead of George Springer today.
I know you are, because yesterday when they had him and Jansen out of the lineup, right? I went, damn, I could not have more of an opposite feeling with these two guys, right? When Jansen's out of the lineup, you go, you need Jansen in the lineup right now. Is the only guy that you really feel like is going to do damage, right? Who's your damage leader? And it's Jansen.
No, it's Jansen.
And then with Springer, he was out of the lineup, and I went, good. There's no one worse. Like Vogelbach could hit, and I would say that's better.
Well, so then why are we pussyfooting around it? Like, if you're a better team, and this is like one of the most important seasons in the history of your franchise,
because you have nothing. He's the highest ceiling. Is that it's.
But at a certain point, like how insane do you sound talking about him reaching those ceilings? And again, like what are the indicators? There's no like a batted ball advanced stat that's going to tell you that George Springer is like just around the corner. Here comes the offensive turnaround. Yeah. So like if you are just about winning and you've already done the thing removing him from the leadoff spot, like what's to stop you from making him the fourth outfielder on this team?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that I'm down for. The nuclear option of DFAing him.
No.
Said, like that, sorry, not DFA, because that would never happen. But the idea of trading him somewhere to save a few $1,000,000 where they give you essentially nothing back, but they eat they're like, okay, there's this, let's say it's including this year. There's what, 60 some $1 million left that they still owe him probably.
Yeah.
You go, hey, we'll give you $10 million for Springer. We'll pay him $10 million for the next couple of years. Like, but you save $10 million. Hey, don't
So you're paying him $50 million?
Yeah, to pay for another team.
Yeah.
And then if he actually did anything, you selling that up to ownership would be the ugliest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
If Springer got hot, Shapiro, would you not agree, has done a very good job of insulating himself from criticism? Now I actually think, again, he screwed the pooch in terms of not having any criticism. Like, all he had to do was fire Ross Atkins last year, and he stubbornly was like, nope, this is my guy.
Yeah.
And now people are looking at him going, what the hell? Why did you endorse this guy? Like, he's the worst general manager in all of baseball. What were you thinking? Mm-hmm. He's destroyed this fan base. Mm-hmm. And if he was to go and say, hey, George Springer, go somewhere else for no money, and then he raked somehow, then I think the heat would be fully on him.
Yeah, you're not doing that. I don't think it's happening this season where George Springer is not a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. But you've already ripped the Band-Aid off, making George Springer a malcontent with not leading off anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, is it too far afield to imagine him being a part-time player?
That's what I would prefer.
Yeah, I think anybody with eyeballs would prefer that right now. Yeah. But
make it. Why can't he? Yeah, why can't?
That's
he
the next
earn his way back to playing time?
I'm with you.
Why
and
is
it's
he
not
so
like
above
there's
that?
Anybody that's an obvious candidate to replace him.
Well,
it's like you're looking at Kevin Biggio, and if you want to call up one of those AAA guys, it means somebody's got to be removed from the roster, to which I would say, like, Daniel Vogelbach, that's his job, is to be DFA'd.
But he also just had his best game.
Yeah, he hit his first home run as a member of the... Sure.
But when
it would be an odd
swinging
time.
he looks great.
I know. The Blue Jays haven't had the month run where Mets fans last year were like, this is the greatest hitter.
Yeah. But maybe that's what's happening. That's what I'm saying. You got to hold off.
Like, Daniel Vogelbach was in... So Major League Baseball did these commercials. Remember when they had the rule changes? Or like to promote the game? And Daniel Vogelbach was like one of the key players that was in that. Like, he was a famous player in Major League Baseball on the strength of playing in the market of New York and having his incredible month where people are like, yeah, Daniel Vogelbach. But yeah, the fact still remains that he's Daniel Vogelbach. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can DFA him. But outside of him, there is no obvious roster place where, unless your boy Ernie Clement, you're cutting bait on him, but he has no options left, so it would have to be.
I don't think you're losing anything if you're losing Ernie Clement. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think
we've seen all you need to see.
You only need one Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, in my opinion.
Well, they're gonna have to make moves soon enough too, right? Because Rodriguez is gonna come back, Chad Green's gonna come back.
Yeah, but those are like Zach Pop has options, and boy, I love some Zach Pop.
I know, but it's
Nate Pearson has options still.
It's fallen off.
To me, Nate Pearson would be the guy.
I would just send Eric Swanson to Moon Jail immediately and just be like, hey, live there.
I think
fine.
You're closer to doing the thing that the Cardinals did last season and saying that to Genesis Cabrera.
It's the same. Those two guys are the same. But I'll tell you something. Swanson, Meza, Cabrera, Pearson can all go live in Moon Jail together and share a cell block.
You put Meza in there?
Meza, I don't trust at all.
Against righties, absolutely not. But against
Meza
lefties
in his last outing, where it was
he faced a righty.
It was like bang, and it was I guess sure. I can't.
But if you're losing Ennis Cabrera, you can't lose.
Yeah,
Tim
I
Macy.
know, I get, but yeah, I'm telling you that all these guys, whenever they come into the games, I'm never like, okay, nice. I go,
well,
hey, what's the live over? If I think about my bullpen and I'm thinking about live overs as they're bringing a guy in, and Cabrera is actually number one in that, where I have bet it multiple times.
Yeah,
and it's fruitful.
Yeah.
Like you can bet next inning runs, and here's a little tippy. Here's a little tipperoo.
Yeah. Again,
you see Cabrera coming out, especially if there's runners on. Oh boy, that's chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Bang that sucker. Anyways, underrated legacy stakes. So this is the segment. This is the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understands that if you're going to be the best player on a championship-winning team, if you're going to be Luka Doncic, you ascend into a different category of NBA players, the best guy on a championship-winning team. You're discussed often as potentially going to be the greatest scorer of all time when your career is said and done. You're the only guy that realistically could pass LeBron James when it comes to scoring. It would take a lot, but you're the only guy right now that people would pick. It's obvious that Anthony Edwards, at 22 years old, winning an NBA championship, considering that he would change if you're the greatest player in the league, you getting one right now, when LeBron and Kobe and others, like Kobe is the best player especially, they didn't get theirs until later. Michael didn't get theirs until later. You all of a sudden at 22, it's very obvious. Connor McDavid, the only bullet against you, or the only mark against you, is that you haven't won and all the greatest players have won. These are very obvious legacy stakes. Ben Ennis, who has the most underrated legacy stake in both the NHL and the NBA right now in the Final Four to you?
I mean,
you're smirking. I know this answer's going to be horrific.
No.
Okay.
It's not horrific.
Okay.
It's maybe a cheat, though.
All right.
Does Jason Kidd as a head coach count?
No, I love this answer already, so go ahead.
Yeah, Jason Kidd as a head coach.
That's a great answer. This is why would I be mad about this?
Because I was like, you're going to be like, a player. It has to be a player.
No, you broke my brain already. I love it. It's great.
Jason Kidd as a head coach gets the previous one, right? Gets Giannis. He gets it. It's on a silver platter. It's right there for him, and nothing but failures.
Yeah.
Failure. He departs. Mike Budenholzer, who had his own warts and didn't have staying power, but got it. He was, we can say definitively there was a coaching issue there, and it was obviously more than that. But Mike Budenholzer did the damn thing that Jason Kidd could not. And he had the best player on planet Earth in that moment. Here he is with another MVP candidate in Luka Doncic, who hasn't done it yet. He just hasn't. He has not had the ecosystem, hasn't had the coaching. If he's the guy in the chair when Luka finally climbs to the top of the mountain, how do we not reconsider his time in Milwaukee and his time as there was a point when he was being fired from Milwaukee. He was kind of a punchline as a head coach.
He did the thing with the water. You know what's interesting with him too is how many guys have won a championship with an organization as a player and a coach?
Yeah.
So obviously there's some like Bill Russell, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are who else would have done it in Boston? Casey Jones, but I don't know how long that list is in modern day. I don't think that list is very long. That's like a bygone era thing, it feels like. You won as a player and as a coach, and in a window that's kind of like modern day. People remember you still as a player. He's 100%. Only in his early 50s, I want to say, Jason Kidd.
2011.
Okay, so 2011 was when they won the championship, yes? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's the Mavericks championships, 2011.
Yeah.
And so for you to do that kind of as a player, as a coach, that cements you as, I think, a different sort of lore in Texas as well, a major sports state.
Yep.
Which is weird because I'll always think about Jason Kidd as a son and as a net.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't. He becomes a Maverick.
Yeah.
He's a full Maverick. You won a championship there. Sneaky, super important during that run, too. All of a sudden became a guy who wasn't a three-point shooter and later in his career became a three-point shooter, was extremely important. If you went with, who were the most important guys on that championship-winning team, he would be pretty high on the list. He's below Jet, he's below Dirk.
Yeah.
But then he's kind of in that next tier.
But as a player, his resume is unassailable, right?
His player resume is unassailable, except for he won a championship kind of like Gary Payton won a championship, the two Bay Area guys that were the generational point guards. And by that I mean two of the most defining players of the generation end up winning championships as hangers-on, not as drivers.
Yeah, but as a head coach, again, the narrative was him as a joke, and it was LeBron wants him in the organization. That's a joke. What does he want Jason Kidd for? The guy that's had nothing but failures. I mean, all relative, but had the best player in the NBA and couldn't lead him to the promised land. Now all of a sudden, Yeah, you're the guy there for Luka's first ever, and your import on that is debatable. But yet, no, you get cemented as one of the best coaches in the NBA.
So I kind of outlined this a little bit yesterday with Henrik Lundqvist. Go back, subscribe to the podcast, leave 5 stars, really helps me out. But when I was looking and I was previewing, I was prepping to do the interview with him, right? Because I was trying to look at Rangers angles and different stuff, and I kind of gobbledygooked the question, if I'm being honest. But I was looking at this series, and the goaltending matchup is really marquee, right? That's one of the selling points of this series. And I thought, Sergei Bobrovsky has 2 Vezinas. You look at the list of guys, like Lundqvist, who I had on, has 1. And yeah, but like Carey Price has 1. This guy is one of the best goaltenders of like the decade. And when he first signed his contract, people went, wow, this contract's terrible. And now we've kind of come around on that, right? He's up for another Vezina nomination this season. But when you look at his career in totality, he would be the front runner on that team to now win the Conn Smythe Trophy. And you add that all of a sudden to his resume with 2 Vezinas, other nominations, kind of takes away the whole narrative that he wasn't a playoff guy, because that was very much there when he was in Columbus. And now you're going, hey, out of all these great Russian goaltenders that we've loved to praise, right, where we've said, hey, Vasilevsky is the greatest. He's one of the greatest since Hasek. He's one of the best. You kind of look at him amongst the contemporaries and say, well, how far off is he from the rest of these guys when you take all the stats and the potential that he's won and that he's got the major awards, and then potentially those 2, a Cup and a Conn Smythe? Kind of feel like it elevates him more than it elevates just about any other player in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, in terms of, hey, wow, this guy is now a Hockey Hall of Famer, like he's an all-time great.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's already happened, but like the narrative around you can't possibly pay a goaltender that amount of money.
It's another good point.
Like going into their mid-30s, it's just like it's never going to work out well for you. The position is so random, and guys fall off so quickly. Yeah. And it did look like that for a moment.
That's what we thought it was
for
with
a hot
him. We were
minute.
like, what an idiot. We really did think that he was the Jack Campbell contract.
Yeah. And
but worse.
But now you're not what you've been.
Yep.
And like, God, it's so hilarious how these narrative changes. Like, he didn't start the postseason as the starter last postseason for the Panthers.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, no, I think already with the year he had during the regular season, and nothing happens in a vacuum, and I get it. That team is incredibly defensively sound. But no, that conversation, like this will be the prime example when people are like, hey, UC Saros, you can't trade for him, then sign him to a 7-year extension because he's 30 years old. Well, you'll be like, well, but Sergei Bobrovsky, look at him at 35.
And you know what's crazy with him too is why I think he's such a huge narrative winner is next year is the last year on his contract. And so there really isn't potential for, hey, he won a cup and then there's 4 more years where it gets sort of awkward, right?
We're already weird. It was like the middle years.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like the back end of this deal, if he wins on it, you kind of go, damn, he came around and you forget every struggle that he had. You go, it was all, the juice was worth the squeeze on this contract. Sure, he got $70 million. Sure, he was a high paid goalie in his 30s, but it worked out and he's one of the best players. And now you put the career in totality and you're like, that's what it becomes. A guy with a couple Vezinas, a couple of nominations, a Stanley Cup and a Conn Smythe. I think he's the highest. My other one, by the way, quickly, is, I know you have another, is Karl Anthony Towns. Did you have the same one?
No, I had Pascal Siakam.
Oh, that's a good one. Break that down. I like that more. This is
Pascal Siakam. I mean, it would have. It felt a lot better. I know they felt a lot better when they were up in the dying seconds of Game 1, and then he was the guy that couldn't get the ball.
I'm not going to win this game. Here you go.
And then Pascal was sitting like watching Jaylen Brown shoot over top of him. I get it. He didn't want to foul, but like do something.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways,
he probably saw Shea though, and he was like, "Yeah."
I know, but for a guy who was the second leading scorer on a championship team, which is like that's factual. Like
you did great with this list.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to be so mad at me.
Why? This is an incredible. No, the whole thing is underrated. It's like you wouldn't be thinking about him. I actually think my Karl Anthony Towns one's bad. Like now I'm like embarrassed.
Can I yell at you?
Yeah.
It's bad, man.
Yeah, really.
No.
Do a good enough job. That's like my own thing. You dominated me. And I was like, kind of kicking the dust. Go back to the drawing board.
Second best second highest scorer on the title team in the playoffs in 2019 behind Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And a guy that you could have had for seemingly a song. Like the Pacers,
so stupid.
God forbid, had to give up two picks
in this draft.
And Jordan Nwora.
Did you see the Russillo thing?
No.
Ryan Russillo polled multiple front offices and asked them what the value of the first overall pick is this year in the draft. And this is, again, useful information for the Raptors fans who are like, can't believe we don't have a pick. JD thinks it's good that we don't have a pick. He said that the value is third or fourth rotation player on a good team. He said Lou Dort-ish is what the first overall pick is worth right now.
I'd like Lou Dort.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Just in terms of value. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, so they gave up two picks
in the later round. In the later of a round that are going to hopefully be a Lou Dort-like player.
Anyways, yeah, so that guy, and it's Tyrese Halliburton's team, but yeah, if they won, he would be a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think everybody would have to retroactively be like, whoa, what, what did we do here? We made a horrible mistake, except for the Pacers.
I think that's already happened, though. I think that all these teams got to look at it already, and was making this case when they won the last round, which is the legacy of the Siakam trade, even when they overpay him, which they're going to this offseason, they have to, is going to be that if you were the Sacramento Kings or you were the Golden State Warriors or the Oklahoma City Thunder, all these teams that either weren't there or needed to capitalize on their window a little bit better, I'm looking at the Siakam thing going, man, you really blew it. Like this year was wide open. And he is clearly that level of player, and you clutched your purse because you didn't want to give up Jonathan Kuminga types or first-round picks if you're the Warriors. Like, it made no sense.
Yeah, by the way, I came into your building. I'm the Pacers in MSG in Game 7, and I just put up 150 on you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you really, right away. It was just like, the game was over. We're like looking at the clock. We're like, what the hell happened? All the Knicks fans were like, maybe we'll make a run. It was like, no, you did. Kind of actually.
And you're Jalen Brunson with your broken hand.
Yeah, I am. I'm just like, I broke my hand.
Yeah, that's why.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the cat thing is just simple because everyone looked at him as such a loser, right? It's like, you can't win with Karl Anthony Towns. Hey, he's a losing player. Do you remember what he said last year, which was on a podcast? He said that what they did was more impressive than what Denver did, winning that round. And you go, huh?
Yeah.
And he says stupid things. He's a guy that people have liked to make fun of. And now looking at him properly slotted, and even last night was an example of this where Edwards isn't going, and he's such an incredible scoring machine. He hits that one deep three. Like, you just think.
He took a couple of ill-advised shots after that.
But if you take away this is why the legacy stake is so high. Because if you take away the he's a loser thing with a championship, you really have to respect that he is the best shooting big man of all time. Like, it's him and Dirk. And you have to say, wow, look at the scoring process. You start to look at the raw statistics, and you're like, damn, he did it and he won. Anyway, subscribe to this podcast. Leave 5 stars. We'll see you tomorrow.